Welcome to the Not Just Waiting podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Hoffman, and this is a space for women learning to wait well and live fully. Whether you're in the middle of uncertainty, transition, or just figuring out what's next, this podcast is here to remind you you are not behind, not forgotten, and definitely not just waiting. Let's dig into truth, grow in courage, and hold on to hope together. Hey friends, welcome back to the Not Just Waiting podcast. Today I'm joined by Kathy Branning, an author whose work beautifully explores faith formation and the beauty of becoming. Through both heartfelt fiction and reflective nonfiction, Kathy invites readers to grow deeper in love, in courage, and in Christ. She's the author of the Tales of an Innkeeper series and co-author of the marriage devotional Still Becoming Us, which she wrote alongside her husband Alex. Married for over 2 decades, Kathy and Alex have walked through seasons of transition, parenting, entrepreneurship, and unexpected challenges that have strengthened both their faith and their marriage. Together, they're passionate about helping couples build intentional, Christ-centered relationships rooted not in perfection, but in growth. As a newly empty nester with her daughter away at college, Kathy is stepping into a new season, continuing to write, beginning to host retreats, and living life alongside her husband and their 2 very expressive dogs who run the house. At the heart of it all, Kathy's desire is simple: to encourage others and be a distributor of hope. I cannot wait for you to hear this story. Let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Not Just Waiting podcast. I am so glad that you guys are here. Kathy, I'm so glad that you're here. I've been wanting to do this for a while and life just hasn't lifed well. So I'm really glad to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
This is so fun. I have a couple questions before we even get into the question, just so I don't forget. So we met at book camp, I guess a year and a half ago in Charleston, and you had already written books and you just published a book. Can you tell us a little bit about some of that?
Yeah. So I have 3 books, part of a series. First book is "'Tis So Sweet," Suite. Second book is "It's an Inside Job," with 2 N's. And third book is "Giving In," again with 2 N's. So play on words. I love puns. But it's basically Christian fiction short stories written from a place of grief, healing from loss of my dad, which was a really complicated relationship. And it helped me kind of process that grief and move through it as I was telling the story. So it was a really beautiful tool. And my hope and prayer for that is that those who read the book will find solutions through entertainment. So I got to publish these books through a hybrid publisher, Christian fiction publishing, through Christian faith publishing, sorry. And it was a really great experience.
I love that. I love the play on words. I know you told me that last time that we chatted about them, but it just makes me giggle because I'm like, "Oh, that makes my heart happy a little bit." I love that. And I love the background of you telling us that this was you processing because when you're like, "Oh, I write Christian fiction," and then you told us the titles, I'm like, "Oh, these are sweet." And then you told us like the process, I'm like, "Oh, no, these were written from a place that you were becoming in and accidentally on purpose. Like you moved from one place to another while writing these books. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So while we're chatting about becoming, I don't know if you know this, but our podcast this year is chatting about becoming like who we are in the waiting. Because in the waiting seasons, I don't know if you know this, a lot of times we sit and wait and we're like, hi, what is the problem? Not you laid up with a leg injury right now, waiting. Um, you get it. You're
I
like,
do.
what are you doing in this
I
season? Why am
do.
I here?
100%.
So, if you don't mind, can I ask you some questions?
Absolutely.
Cool. So, question number 1. Who do you sense God has been forming you into in this season, especially in ways that weren't visible or celebrated?
Well, who, uh, I would say simply the bride, right? So I feel like the season has been a lot of pruning and pressing. And it's painful, it's uncomfortable, but it's actually incredibly necessary, right? And so, when you're in physical pain, I don't know about you, but I get real angry. I get real frustrated and my ugly comes out. And it's like, you know how people get hangry?
Yes.
I always joke and say I get hangry. So, like, my pain hits a certain level and I just get angry. And the Lord, in his kindness, has revealed areas in me that just don't belong. They are not going to serve my purpose and my calling. They don't serve my family, bless them, or my community. And so it's been a very raw, exposing season of just saying, okay, Lord, I don't want this in me. And I know you don't want this in me. So let's get rid of it. I need to get to a place of surrender. And so, with pruning, I think that's kind of a season for a lot of us right now. The Lord is really doing something with that. But, like, you prune to get better fruit, right? To make your plant healthier. And then the pressing is kind of been this theme for me because, you think of an olive, and to make olive oil, you press it and then you press it a second time to get really good, high quality, pure oil. And he's coming back for a spotless bride. And I want to have oil in my lampstand. And the way to get oil is through the pressing. And so I think this season is just painful surrender for me, um, to become who can fulfill this calling, who can walk this purpose out and, cheesily be the best me I can be.
But I think there's a lot of truth to that because when you were talking about having oil in your lamp, I don't think I like, I've read that story hundreds of times. And I listen to the Gospels pretty much every month because I listen to Annie F. Downs read them to me while I'm washing dishes. Um, and so she does the story, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be the girl that's got her life together. Like, got it. She knows the plan. And you're like, wait, but the oil has to be pressed somewhere. And I'm like, uh, I don't want, like, I know it's necessary, but nobody walks into a season's like, Lord, just take it all.
Right. I mean, in the physical, it's much like my physical situation. Early February, there was a blizzard. I slipped on black ice and I ripped my gluteus medius hip muscle 80%. When they went in for surgery, it was ripped 90%. Now, without surgery, it could not heal properly. And so it's like, I could have just, okay, this is my new normal. I'm going to walk with a limp now. I'm always going to be in pain. I'm always not going to be at 100%. But the surgery, as painful as it is, I hate going under. It's all the things, right? Now I'm having a nasty scar that I'll probably get a tattoo on. Um, but it was necessary for me to get stronger and more capable in my mobility and strength. So I think that really kind of parallels my physical and spiritual season right now.
Ugh. And, like, it's such a practical thing that we can all relate to in some shape, fashion, or form. Like, when you were talking about, like, having the surgery, I went back to last summer when I had to have surgery, and there's a season before that you're like, "Okay, Lord, what are you doing?" And then you go through the surgery, and you're still in the season of, "Okay, Lord, what are you doing?" But in a different way, because like, you
Yeah.
see the fulfillment of whatever he was planning. So, like, in your case, it was sewing your muscle back together so that you could function as a human. And in this season, you're laid up because you're having to rest so that it can actually heal. And in that season, you're like, this was not my plan. This was not it. And
Sure
so
wasn't.
it wasn't. And you're like launching a book, your devotional that we'll chat about in a minute. But I'm sure when you launched it, your plan wasn't going to be doing it from a couch.
It really wasn't.
Mm. But I think it does speak to the becoming because once you come out of this, there will be, like you were talking about, the Lord revealing stuff in your life because of your pain greeness. I'm going to steal that. Um,
Please do.
'Cause I do it all the time, I'm like, "Ah." But in that season, you're getting to see things in you that you wouldn't see otherwise had you not literally been in pain and on pain
So true.
medication. It's
I
wild.
have to laugh. I really do. Like, it's literally life-giving, you know? It's like, if I don't laugh, I'll just cry.
Huh? Yep. Along this vein, was there a season where God seemed more focused on shaping your character than advancing your calling? And what did that form in you in that season? It might be this season.
Yes. Oh, it's absolutely this season. I think, I'm 42 and I look back at my life and I've done a lot of hard things, but this in particular is the hardest. Like you said, we're launching a marriage devotional. My daughter turned 18. She's in beauty school. She moved out to her own apartment. And, we're empty nesters. We're moving to another state. And I'm recovering from surgery. It's like everything all at once. It's just, there have been so many moments where I've been like, God, what is the purpose of this? But realizing he's not delaying, he's preparing. It's through the pruning and it's through the pressing that I'm being prepared. Um, he's been teaching me humility, dependence, and surrender, because calling without character can't stand.
Yeah. I had that realization a couple months ago that when we're in seasons like this, he's preparing us to hold the capacity for what he has coming for us. And so, talking about your character, in these seasons, he is building our character even though we don't want him to. Um, he's building that character in us so that when we get into these crazy seasons, even like now with your current season, there was something built in you prior so you could hold this. And this season's preparing you for something coming that's better than you could have imagined, but you don't know what it is. And I feel like if we knew what it was, we would, I don't know, maybe we would be more prepared, or maybe it would be like we don't want to get on the ride. I don't
Right.
know.
Might be a little freaked out.
Huh?
I had this moment. This reminds me, I had this moment about 5, 6 years ago. My husband and I, 6, 7 years ago, maybe even 6, 7. My husband and I bought our dream house in Northern California. And it was everything we ever wanted. We had fruit trees, we had a pool, and we thought, this is it. Like, this is the best our lives can get, you know? And I had a friend tell me, this is just the beginning. And I kind of rejected that word because in my limited ability to understand that there's no way it could get better than this. I don't even want to think what that could be. And then the Lord called us to New York City and we sold that house and now we're moving to Dallas. So it's like, it actually was correct because the Lord is so good. And like if we surrender, what he has for us is bigger and better than we could possibly plan for ourselves.
Yeah. I find it so funny because I knew that you lived in New York and were moving to Dallas. I didn't know you'd lived in Northern California. So, like, you're literally going from coast to coast to the South.
Yeah.
Talk about not in your plan.
I know. I think my husband and I really learned in this season, we're not we're not planters, we're pioneers. And that old worship song where you go, I go, where you stay, I stay. I think I sing it a little too fervently, a little too passionately. And the Lord took it seriously. So and I think God's really um prepared my husband's heart to be able to move around like that in where he has for us. That sentence makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. Because I grew up in a season where I lived, so I'm from Mississippi. I grew up in Mississippi. I went to the same school all 12 years. Then I graduated and went to a 4-year college, Baptist college, an hour from my mom. And then I moved 995 miles away, like a crazy person. Um, and so we've been here for almost 5 years now. But there are people that the Lord does create to get to move from literally coast to coast to Dallas. Like, that would hurt my body and my brain, and I'm already a little crazy. I can't imagine, like, prepping myself for the culture shocks of both.
Yeah.
And so, like, he totally equips you to do that because he did not equip me to do that yet. I need some wood. But I think it's cool that you've been in those seasons and you now can look back and be like, okay, the Lord was doing this. Even you saying I sang that song a little too fervently. There are days that I have said stuff that have come out of my mouth, and I'm like, Lord, I take it back. Lord, I take it back. I don't, I want it back. Thank you. Please don't fulfill that. It's just one of those things that you're like, okay, maybe I did mean it, but you're going to prepare me for it, right, Lord? Even if I don't like it. And in the in between seasons is when He does that, even when we don't want it.
Yeah. It's like praying for patience. I'm always like, I never want to pray for patience because I don't like the way I'm taught that. And funny enough, in this season, it's actually number one lesson. So maybe I didn't ask for it, but the Lord in his kindness is teaching me patience.
Yep. That's one of those prayers I choose not to pray. And sometimes people pray those over me. And I'm like, please don't do that.
Thank you.
I'm I'm good. I'm content mostly with how I don't need to be taught patience. Thanks. Well, I have another question for us. What have you had to release, whether that's expectations, timelines, your identity, in order to become who God is inviting you to be now?
So much. Mainly my daughter moving out right now. I had this dream of taking her to Home Goods and to Target and helping her make that transition from living at home under our, care and comfort to an independent woman on her own. For me, I moved out when I was 17 and then I went to college in Chicago. I knew nobody and it was such like it was hard, but it was a really beautiful season of my life and I really wanted to be part of hers and I haven't been able to do that because of my injury and um I know that there's purpose in that because I can be a little controlling. Let me take over. Um, and so she's really gotten to just say, I'm doing this myself. And I do think that creates a sense of, like confidence that I don't know that a lot of 18-year-olds get right away. Right. And so I'm like, it's again this like I'm learning to trust God even more fully with her life because even though I can't show up in the way that I want to for her, I know that he is. And I'm seeing it in real time. It makes me sad still because I want to be there. I want to experience it. I want to, go to her, I don't know, do all the things, it's just to have all the dreams and the visions and
Yeah.
just haven't been able to happen. I'm a type A visionary. I love planning, scheduling, and dreaming. And this season, like, hasn't been a lot of that. We can dream, we can vision, but like I'm also a doer.
Hmm.
And so I've had to lay down the identity of the one who makes it happen.
Felt that in my. And there's
Yeah.
a grief that comes with it too when you're not, when your plan doesn't go like you expected, even if it's something silly, like this was not what I wanted for dinner. But like in this case, you wanted to like do things for your daughter that has now equipped her to do things for herself, which is a cool thing to watch, but there's a grief to
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
then when you're the person that people call on to get the things done, and all of a sudden your schedule went from very full, I assume this is how my life is,
Yep.
very, very full because you're the one that gets stuff done, to you physically can't get stuff done, so nobody's calling at all.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
so there's like a massive grief to it because you're like, okay, Lord, what does this say about me? Where do I put my identity? We're talking about giving up our identity and our timelines and our expectations. It's like, who are you calling me to be in this season when I'm not all thanks to all people?
Yeah, I mean, God has invited me to surrender my plans for His, not striving, but trusting Him to take care of those I normally take care of.
Yeah. And it's hard. So hard.
Yeah, especially, oh my gosh, packing up my home. Every time we've moved, and this is definitely like the Lord showing me, you have some pride, lady, get rid of it. Every time we've moved, I've pretty much done it all. Like I packed it all. We get a U-Haul, we get some friends to help pack the U-Haul, but I pack everything myself. And I had a friend be like, surely, like, you'll need to hire multiple people because you wouldn't pack this whole place by yourself. And I'm like, actually, that is normally how I do it. But in this season, nope, definitely gonna have to rely on help.
And when you were talking about that, my brain went, Kathy in a swivel chair. She's gonna pack it all. I still relate. We moved. I had endometriosis excision surgery last summer, and we moved in the middle of it too. And so I
No.
feel this because I couldn't pick up 10 pounds, like, wasn't allowed to do anything. I could barely bend over. And we're like, we signed, I had surgery on July 15th. We signed on the house on the 27th. We moved in August 15th. So I had a little bit of more leeway, but I still wasn't like allowed to move anything. I could get off my couch. That was about it. And you talking about having to trust other people, like my husband had to pack our whole house, which was fine, except we moved in separately. We got married and moved into the apartment. So he was there first and then I moved in. So there's stuff in this house I don't even know exists. And so it's like, yeah, what do you want to do with this? And I'm like, what is that? And what is its purpose? And why do we have four of them?
No.
And so when you're talking about having to move, I mean, you're moving across the country. We only moved across the city, and you're having to rely on people, and you're the one that people rely on. And so it puts you in a weird spot in your like feelings and your emotions and your thoughts. I feel you. I feel you. Like it brought
Yeah.
some stuff up in me, and that was 6 months ago, 8 months ago.
Aw.
While we're talking about resting, you definitely are doing, I hope, a lot of it. Maybe not. Maybe your body is and your brain isn't. But we talk about waiting, and there's two different forms of waiting. We talk about passive waiting and active waiting. For a typical Rihanna passive waiting, it is me sitting on my couch eating peanut butter cookies and watching Netflix because that's the best dessert I can get at the current moment when you're gluten and dairy free. So it's peanut butter cookies. Then there's active waiting, you're getting up and doing something, whether that's writing a post or sending an email or writing a letter or taking dinner to people or doing whatever the Lord actually told you to do instead of avoiding him. Me. So when we're in these seasons, there is a spot for both. There is a place for
Yeah.
passive waiting because we need to renew ourselves and restore ourselves and let the Lord speak into what he has for us, because if we just go around doing all the things, we're not taking any time to listen. But then there's a time for action and doing something, even if that's just posting something while you're talking to the screen, as we were chatting about earlier on social media. Because that is my current season. One of my to-do lists for this week is talk to the camera. Literally, it's on top of the to-do list. It was funny you
Good.
told me that earlier because I was like, okay, I got it, Lord. I got it. I got it. Got it. Um, but in your season, how are you waiting well with all the things you're used to doing and not used to doing and the space that you're having to take up at the moment?
You know, um, first, like this has been huge in my mind and heart right now. But I love that you said like passive waiting and um,
Active waiting?
active waiting. Thank you. Because with the medication and everything, I do have the brain fog, and sometimes literally all I can do is just like binge New Girl, and because it makes me laugh, and I need endorphins, and serotonin, whatnot. But I really wrestled with that question. What can I do right now? And reading Romans 12:6-8 over and over convicted me. I may be limited right now, but I'm not without purpose. And I think that has to kind of like be plastered on my forehead and like somehow driven in, right? Because it's just too easy, especially if you're isolated. Like we're really spread out from our community here. And so it's super easy to just be isolated and not even reach out. And that's when the lies come, right? Like you're useless, you have no purpose. What are you even doing? So waiting well has for me has looked like being intentional from my chair. I actually moved to the couch today because I'm making progress. Thank you, thank you. But my husband sweetly created what we like to call recliner headquarters for me. And so it's like a power lift recliner. So it's very easy to get in and out of. And it kind of hugs my hip and my incision area. Just really, it's a really good healing. So I'm like, okay, what can I do for my chair? Um, you know, I'm working hard with my physical therapist, focusing on getting my strength and mobility back. But I can still write, I can still create, and I can still encourage others,
Yeah.
you know? Um, the hurdle is getting past the grief and the despair and being faithful with what's in my hands now and not getting stuck in that cycle of believing the lies, right?
Yeah.
So now, what's in my hands now? What can I do instead of everything has to be perfect
Yeah.
before I do anything, right? So the in between does not need to be wasted, right?
Yeah.
I'm growing and refining and being intentional with what I can do. Um, Romans 12:6-8. I want to be the one who exhorts, the one who contributes in generosity, the one who leads with zeal, and the one who does acts of mercy with cheerfulness.
Mm.
Now, practically, doing a lot of posting content, right? It's what we authors do, right? We gotta post the content, and we get to encourage people via social media. So that's something we get to do. And I don't know about you, but I love getting a card in the mail. And I'm like, how easy is that for me right now? I
Mm.
can sit here and write cards and just like hopefully encourage somebody's day. It's small, it's very small thing, but it really struck me this act of mercy with cheerfulness, because I think what it does, it's like twofold. Yes, I get to encourage somebody, but it also gets me out of myself
Yeah.
where I get stuck in that cycle of thinking like, poor me, wah, wah.
Yeah. And that comes with intention. You are intentionally making the choice to not sit on your couch and poor pitiful me. I mean, there's a season for that, don't get me wrong. But you're choosing to get in recliner headquarters and get stuff done. And even like the writing of notes, I'm to the stage of adulthood that when I go to the mailbox, it's not like, oh, who gave me a letter? It's what bill is this now? Um,
Yeah,
and even though I get most of our bills like via the internet, like there are still bills that come to my mailbox. I'm like, I didn't want this. I would like to
right.
send it back. Return to sender. But even something as simple as writing a note, like you're intentionally taking your time. You're writing the note, which takes time. Like when you're writing things out, it takes time. And you're thinking about that person as you're doing it versus you could sit there and be like, I'm the one that just had surgery. People should be writing notes to me. You could do that, but you're not. And I think that's so cool that you're taking what the scripture said and you're putting it into action, even though you literally can't walk on a normal basis right now. Like, it's incredible because you really could just sit and watch New Girl for days and days and days and days and days and days and days on end and then watch it again and then watch it again and then move and then get sad and watch it again. But in this case, you're taking the steps to post your content and be creative, which is really hard when you're under pain medicine, just in case you didn't know. Um, and you're writing notes to people and you're taking the time to intentionally pour into people when you really could. You have the big excuse. Like you could. And it's so cool that in this waiting season for you, you are actively waiting because that's what the Lord told you to do. And I just think, well, that's just awesome.
Thank you.
Well, as we're wrapping up today, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. So I mentioned our marriage devotional, but one other project that I'm working on, also from Recliner headquarters, that I'm super, super, super excited about is part of the purpose of our move to Dallas is we want to utilize our empty nest era and create a retreat center. And so our very first retreat, well, it's going to be me mainly. My husband won't be there. So my first retreat will be a Christian women's writing retreat titled Sisterhood of Stories. I was so incredibly moved and inspired by our writing camp with Jess, mainly because not only did she equip us with tools, but we gain this network now of friends in the kingdom who are chasing the same goal. It breaks it down to we've been given tools, and the Lord has called us to put those tools in other people's hands. And it looks different for each of it, but we're literally chasing the same goal with the Lord. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think so many people long for that. And so, again, creating a space for women to come and write. As an author, I've spoken to so many people who have said, I want to write, I just don't know how to start. Or I want to write, but I don't have time, or I don't know how to create time, or I don't know where to, how do you start writing is the main question, right? And I love hosting with all of my being. It is like my number one love in life. And so, my husband and I went to another retreat, a marriage retreat, and it was for entrepreneur couples. And it was like, how do you merge your business mind and your marriage? Like, how can you do this together in a healthy and loving way? Right. And so we knew, we have to take the things that we love and enjoy and are gifted in and create ministry and business with that.
Yeah.
And thus came our retreat home in Dallas. So July 9th and 10th, Sisterhood of Stories will have our first writing retreat, and it will just be 2 days of women gathering, creating space for writing. I have a guest speaker coming, and a pool and a hot tub and yummy food will be provided.
That sounds magical. I know I saw you posted it and I was like, ooh. But now that I hear more about it, I'm like, oh, we'll see about this. So, friends, if you're like, I need it and I need it now, I'm going to leave the link in the show notes so that you can register and get connected to Kathy and all of the things so that you can go to this retreat because it literally sounds magical.
Yes,
Like, you really need to go.
I'm very excited for it. Very, very.
Cannot wait to hear about it if I don't get to go. I gotta check my calendar. But I'm like, no, it's taking everything in my body not to check my calendar right now. So if you need to check your calendar, people that are watching / listening, please pause us and check your calendar and then go to the show notes and click the button and register. This has been so fun. Can you tell us where to connect with you?
Absolutely. So I've got kathybranding.com, which is easy. Instagram, my handle is the small little, what is that called? Underscore.
Okay.
Kathy.branding_. Sorry, brain freeze.
I didn't know
And
what it
then,
was either.
yeah. And then for Sisterhood of Stories, if you want to find that retreat, it's simply sisterhoodofstoriesretreat.com.
Beautiful. Thank you for making it easy for us to get a hold of things.
That's the goal.
That was amazing. Well, this has been so fun. Like, I have laughed so much in my living room and I am loving it. Thank you for sharing this season that you're in with us. I know it's hard, and I literally know that you were like laid up on a couch, and it was very brave of you to share your story with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And my friends, you really need to go message Kathy and tell her thank you for sharing her wisdom and insight with us. So please go DM her and then go register for Sisterhood of Stories while you're over there. But it's been a joy and a privilege, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Not Just Waiting podcast. I hope today reminded you that even in the in-between, God is working, and you are not alone. If this episode encouraged you, would you share it with a friend? And don't forget to hit follow so you never miss a moment of truth, hope, and real conversation. You can find me on Instagram at rihanna.ivy.hoff and join the community over on Substack for deeper reflections and weekly encouragement. Until next time, take heart, friend. God is in the waiting with you.